Once upon a time, in a small Nigerian village nestled between rolling hills and wide rivers, there lived a couple known for their goodness. The man, Chenadu, was tall and strong, with a heart as big as the sky. His wife, Ama, was kind and gentle, always smiling and ready to help anyone in need. They were loved by everyone in the village, and their home was always open to visitors. Chenadu and Ama had 2 children, a boy named Emeka and a girl named Ada. Emeka was a bright boy, always curious and eager to learn. Ada, on the other hand, was full of life, her laughter echoing through the village as she played with her friends. The family was happy, living peacefully and helping others wherever they could. One day, news came that Emeka had been given a scholarship to study in a faraway country. Villagers were amazed. They had never seen someone from their small community go so far. Emeka's parents were proud but sad to see him go. The whole village gathered to bid him farewell, and they all prayed for his safe journey. As Emeka waved goodbye, his heart was filled with excitement for the adventures that lay ahead. When Emeka arrived in the foreign land, everything was different. The buildings were tall, the streets busy, and the language strange, but Emeka was determined to do well. He studied hard, made new friends, and tried his best to make his parents proud. But one day, something went wrong. He was accused of something he didn't do, and before he knew it, he was detained. Emeka was confused and scared. He tried to contact his parents, but no messages got through. Back in the village, Chenadu and Ama waited for news from their son. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months, but there was no word from Emeka. They prayed every day, hoping that he was safe. The villagers who had always admired the couple began to worry too. The once joyful home of Chenadu and Ama was now filled with silence and worry. One day, a man named Tunde came to stay with the family. He was charming and seemed friendly, but deep inside he had dark intentions. Tunde had made a plan with his friends to steal everything Chenadu and Ama had worked for. The couple, being the kind people they were, welcomed Tunde into their home without question. They didn't know that Tunde was secretly plotting to betray them. Late one night, while the family was asleep, Tunde opened the door for his friends. They crept into the house and stole all the money, the jewelry, and the little treasures that the family had saved over the years. But their greed didn't stop there. They took advantage of the family's trust and hurt Ada in the most terrible way. They defiled Ada. The next morning, Chenadu and Amina woke up to find their home in ruins and their daughter deeply hurt. Ada became very sick. It was a sickness the village healers had never seen before. Chenadu and Ama did everything they could to save her. Chenadu and Ama did everything they could to save her. They sold their land, their animals, and everything they owned. But nothing worked. She grew weaker each day until she finally closed her eyes forever. The village mourned with the family, and the once lively house became a place of sorrow. They still could not get in touch with Emeka. With heavy hearts, Chenadu and Ama decided to leave the village. They couldn't bear to stay in a place that had once been so full of happiness. They moved to a distant town, far away from everyone they knew. As they settled into their new life, they often asked themselves if being good had brought them any good. They were no longer the joyful couple they once were, but they continued to live quietly, trying to forget the pain of the past. Meanwhile, in a distant land, Emeka's situation finally changed. After 3 long years of waiting and hoping, the truth came out, and Emeka was set free. The authorities apologized for the mistake and even gave him money as compensation. Emeka used the money to continue his studies and soon became a successful estate developer and writer. But despite his success, something was missing. He longed to see his family again, to find out what had happened to them. Emeka decided to return home, but he had a plan. He wanted to test his parents to see if they were still the good people he had known. With the help of a distant relative called Ifeoma, he found out where his parents had moved. He disguised himself as a poor traveler carrying a heavy bag filled with gold and money. When he arrived at the small house where his parents now lived, they didn't recognize him. He asked for a place to stay the night, and despite their threats, Chenadu and Ama agreed to let him stay. That night, as Emeka slept, his parents whispered to each other. They had lost so much and were afraid of losing more. In their fear, they made a terrible decision. They decided to poison the stranger and take the stranger's money and gold, thinking it will solve all their problems. They didn't know that the stranger was their own son, the boy they had once loved so deeply. When the morning came, Emeka didn't wake up. Chenadu and Ama prepared to abandon their home once again and travel far away with the money and gold they had stolen. When they were just about leaving the house, Ifeoma, a distant relative who had shown Emeka his parents' house, approached, and she was surprised to see Chenadu and Ama preparing to leave. "Where is Emeka?" Ifeoma asked. Chenadu and Ama were shocked to hear their son's name. Ifeoma then explained to them that the stranger who had disguised himself to them was their only son. When Chenadu and Ama realized what they had done, it was too late. The pain of losing their son was too much to bear. They cried out in agony, but it was too late. The village mourned once again, not just for the loss of Emeka, but for the loss of goodness in the hearts of Chenadu and Ama. Chenadu and Ama spent the rest of their lives in prison, day in, day out, mourning the loss of their son and for their actions. A story of the good couple who turned to darkness spread far and wide, a warning to all who heard it. Though their tale was one of tragedy, it reminded everyone of the importance of holding on to goodness, no matter how hard life becomes. If you enjoyed this story, please don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment below. Thank you for watching.